The following program contains shockingly brilliant insights. If you suffer from a lack of dark sunglasses, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your optometrist.
Proclaiming the truth in the highways and byways of the world. Fighting for justice in the dark alleys of politics. Raising the voice of resistance to a fevered pitch. And he knows where to find the best and worst jail food in America. Randall Terry.
Thank you. Oh yeah, and I make it look easy. The question is, do you have the fortitude, the inner courage to have people call you militant, controversial? Or do you just want to say, we need to change America, we need to save the country in your computer land? You got to take the fight to the enemy, baby. Welcome to the program. It is I, your servant Randall, back in studio. We survived our logging expedition in the hills of Montana, Oregon. Today's top stories: a bomb and terrorists kill nearly 60 Christians in Iraq, and Yemen sending bombs to the free world, most of them still unaccounted for. And the big question: will the voters of this nation restore sanity, or will we have to look to the folks like Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert to do it for us? Today's program brought to you in part by the Comedy Channel. Hey, we might be unintelligent, but at least we're funny. And by the Obama administration, giving the Comedy Channel enough material to last a lifetime, if only they had the intelligence to know how to use it. We'll have a quick word from my friend, Jihad Granny. Later in the program, we're going to interview the candidate of all Tea Party candidates right here in this studio. You won't want to miss that.
Allah Akbar. Welcome, boys and girls. You remember Imam Rauf, right? He started Cordoba House. I say, build, baby, build. He say, it must succeed for good of America. Don't you believe the same? No? Well, think of what Muhammad say. He says, when you pursue your enemies, do not turn your back on them. Otherwise, you will not have reward in heaven. Allah Akbar. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to the program, friend. The election is almost upon us. I want to encourage you for a minute before we look at the news. The goal that I have in this program is to bring you data and analysis that is the backdrop for the news that we are seeing. But not just to give you data and news, because you can get that anywhere, but to help transform you from someone who watches the news to someone who makes news. To give you the intellectual tools, to give you the strategies, so that you can go from being on the sidelines in battle to being at the forefront of battle. So I know that I have thousands and thousands of viewers, and I'm honored that you take the time to watch this show. But I'm after, maybe you, sir, maybe you, ma'am, I'm after 50 or 100 people that will seize these truths and internalize them and say to the Almighty, here I am. Make me a tool for justice and for truth in your hand. And that you have the willingness to do and to say whatever the great God of heaven and earth requires of you, even if you are afraid. All right, to the top stories, and I promise you some of them are horrific. At least 58 dead right now in Iraq. Members of the Al-Qaeda network stormed into a Catholic church on Sunday and took everyone present hostage. Shortly after entering the building, two of these mass murderers detonated the vests that they were wearing, at which time most of the hostages were killed, including two priests, and at that point, mostly women and children. I'm going to read to you the statement released by the terrorists on their website. Quote, "The Mujahideens raided a filthy nest of the nests of polytheism, which has been long taken by the Christians of Iraq as a headquarter for a war against the religion of Islam, and they were able by the grace of God and his glory to capture those who were gathered in and to take full control of all its entrances." Many people in America, especially in the mainstream media, refuse to see the truth, and they certainly refuse to discuss the truth. I encourage you to go and to read the account given by the New York Times, those pathetic, despicable rewriters of current affairs and history. They just don't want to accept the fact that Islam is actually at war with Christianity, with Judaism, and with all other religions and all other adherents of those religions. One of the challenges before us as we deal with Islam is that we let Islam speak for itself. Do you understand? Learn to take Islam at its word. And so, if you're a regular viewer of this program, you see that they're saying the things that they have been saying for hundreds of years. Number one, that Christians are polytheists, that we believe in many gods. Why is that? Because we believe in the Trinity. Number two, that Christianity is at war with the religion of Islam. Well, because Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life, and Christianity holds that Muhammad is a false prophet. Number three, that therefore Christianity is stirring up trouble against Islam and making war with Islam in the land, as Muhammad discussed. And therefore, those Christians who proclaim the divinity of Jesus Christ, that they can be legitimate targets. And number five, that it is in fact, or four rather, that it is in fact for the glory of God to kill these infidels. If you look at the New York Times story, they took like 6 words or 7 words out of the quote. They did not even have the journalistic integrity to actually quote what these murderers said. That's why you need a program like this. Another top story, as you know, there have been bombs sent from Yemen to various locations in America. As of right now, 4 of the bombs have been located, but officials are afraid that perhaps over 20 more are unaccounted for. Again, these are sent from the chief bomb maker for Al-Qaeda in Yemen. You and I are the targets of these terrorist attacks. Period. Again, they have stated plainly and clearly that their intention is to kill infidels. Why? To subjugate the world through fear and terror to the dictates of Islam. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will show you some footage from the rally on the Mall that happened here at the behest of Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. And then later in the program, an interview here in studio with the best Tea Party candidate in the nation. Remember this as I leave you. You might not be at war with Islam, but Islam is at war with you if you're not a Muslim. And they intend to break your will so that you submit in fear to the dictates of Sharia law. The only question is, will we identify this adversary and oppose it and work towards taking the sword out of Islam's hand while we still have the chance? Or will we cower in fear before the crescent terror? I'll be right back.
Randall and I made a trip to Mars as part of a secret project. Okay, I lied. It was actually to the moon with Neil Armstrong.
Moments with Moses. There shall be no cult prostitute of the daughters of Israel, neither shall there be a cult prostitute of the sons of Israel.
Welcome back to the program, friend. You too can believe that Islam is a peaceful religion. All you need are these. They work every time. Speaking of stupidity, Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert were here in D.C. over the weekend with a Restore the Sanity and/or Fear rally. Randall Terry's own Nigel Fufkin went to interview some of the participants. Watch for yourself.
Hello, I'm Nigel Fufkin. Welcome to the National Mall. We have come here today searching for sanity, searching for reasonableness, sanity, and maybe perhaps a little fear. This person here says he will work for sanity. Would you like to comment on this poster?
Basically, it means that what's going on right now just isn't right, and that I just want to work to make it better, work to make our system better, and not let the extremist voices be heard, but let everyone's be heard.
I don't see Larry King's name inscribed on this outhouse here, on either of them. Perhaps these might be nicer than the ones that Larry King did donate. We're not quite sure. Perhaps we could ask a few of the clients and find out. God told me global warming is a myth. Nev, do you have any comments on the little dancers around us?
I'm seeing them all for the first time in my life. I have no idea who these people are.
You completely dissociate yourself from them.
And I hope this is on record.
Are you with this man?
His map, look at it.
Do we have any sense that perhaps these are from Larry King?
Yeah, I don't know if they're from Larry King, but John Beck told us to go to these, so we trust him. You know, when you're packed in like this.
Oh, now we're
like
getting
this.
close.
That's reasonable, right?
I feel it's kind of intimate, sir. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Have you, gone past boundaries here?
No,
now, vous avez reçu un peu de sanité?
Oui, absolument. Je me sens beaucoup plus informé grâce au slogan des pancartes qu'hier.
Voter contre le burqa.
Ça, c'est très difficile.
Ça, c'est difficile?
Ça, c'est difficile.
Being surrounded by a horde of people, a bit insane. Nigel Fufkin here, still on the National Mall, trying to get a degree of sanity. Sir, I'm looking for some sanity. Could you help me? Perhaps your costume would bring that to all of us. Would you like to comment on what is needed for more sanity in our world?
Common sense. Just common sense.
Was it common sense that led you to wear what you're wearing, sir?
Absolutely.
Do you normally walk around like this?
Absolutely. But the talons of a chicken, they're descended to velociraptors, dinosaurs are terrifying.
We should be afraid of poultry. Should we be afraid of salmonella still?
Absolutely not. You can't see it, it's not real.
I don't know. Looking at you just makes me a little fearful. Hi, I'm Nigel Fufkin. So good to meet you.
It's good to meet you, but don't worry, I'm off the clock.
You're celebrating the fear. Exactly. So, do you feel it in your belly?
I mean, I feel it right now.
I'm feeling scared. I do feel the fear. Sir,
Excellent. They are supporting fear here today.
do people feel perhaps your horns are just a little more reasonable?
Well, look at them. They're all glittery now. I don't know when the hell that happened.
It is rather pretty, actually.
I heard that, so.
I'm feeling the fear. Nigel Fufkin here, feeling like one of the saints.
Thank you, Nigel. When we come back from this break, ladies and gentlemen, the best Tea Party candidate in America here in studio with moi.
I'll even donate my voice so that you don't cluck like a clucking, moronic, stupid peahead. I'll give you my backbone and my voice box if you just promise to use it.
It is better to have an ambitious plan than none at all. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. History is a funny thing. Sometimes there's things happening all around us that we don't even recognize that 100 years later, historians will pinpoint as central in some key moment. Missy Riley Smith's campaign for the U.S. House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. is just one of those historic moments. Joining me in studio is Missy. How are you, Missy?
Good to see you, Randall.
It's better to see you.
Thanks.
$70,000 ads, over 350 ads on TV here in the district, including David Letterman, Jay Leno, Ellen DeGeneres. So who
Oprah.
else? Oprah? Who
Yeah,
else? Who
yeah.
else have you been
Seinfeld.
on? Seinfeld?
Yeah. All the news channels.
Wow. All right. You're a Tea Party activist, yet you're focusing on the babies. Help us reconcile those.
Well, I think that's the most important thing, to stop legalized child killing. And I certainly believe in small government and less taxes and all the Tea Party principles. But the number one issue really is to stop legalized child killing.
Interesting. What would you say to those Tea Party activists who say, no, we have to keep the ethical issues out?
I would say that economic issues should never trump moral principles.
Interesting. We are talking, ladies and gentlemen, about 2012. And Missy and I are already collaborating on how to help some of you run in the top 10 or the top 25 markets in this country, and to duplicate what Missy did. Missy, a word of encouragement to those who are sitting there saying, well, maybe I'm interested in doing that.
Well, I would encourage anybody to do it that believes in life and that is involved in the pro-life movement, because it is very, very doable. If you do the groundwork, you work with the Board of Elections and Ethics, you'll see that it's not brain surgery, and you can get on the ballot. And if it's for a federal position, you can then run the ads that you want, like I ran.
So was this the first time you ran for office?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And you walked in knowing exactly what you were doing, and you were going to take...
No, I knew nothing, but with your direction. And then the Board of Ethics and Elections were wonderful. Yeah. They really were supportive.
So you called fairly regularly, or you or your treasurer called?
Yes. Yeah.
Asked the questions?
Absolutely. Well, I was down there for days on end, and you know, my treasurer was very, very helpful. We worked together, and everybody was volunteer. So,
in case you don't know what we're talking about, go to MissySmith2010.com. That's MissySmith2010.com, and look at the two ads. These ads have caused a firestorm. In addition to the shows that you were on, tell us some of the news coverage that you got.
Well, we were on Wolf Blitzer, The Situation Room, which was national, and then all the local networks picked it up and did stories on me and came to the house and interviewed me. We had front page on the Washington Times twice and the Washington Post. And it was picked up internationally in London, and we were contacted from people all around the world. Probably way over 1,000 emails and certainly a couple of thousand voicemails.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not sure how many millions of people saw these ads, but it is in the millions. And we may never know until eternity how many babies were saved. Do you think any human lives were saved?
Oh, absolutely. We got a couple of calls from 13-year-old girls that didn't know anything about abortion and were horrified, and even cried about seeing these horrible, mutilated, murdered babies. But the most important thing of all is that we showed the world, we actually blew the doors off these killing centers and showed the world that abortion is murder.
Missy Riley Smith, in my opinion, the best Tea Party candidate in the 2010 election cycle. Missy, I love you dearly. God bless you. Thank you for all that you've done. I'm going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, another one of our heroes, Samuel Adams. Don't go away. The Lord is at your right hand. He will shatter kings on the day of his wrath. Samuel Adams said, "Ambition saw that stooping Rome could bear a master, nor had virtue to be free." Let's face it, friends, this republic is stooping low before tyrants. And thank God for the Tea Party movement that has risen with fire in the belly. The problem is this: Right now, the Tea Party movement is in the process of being co-opted by the Republican Party. The Republicans are going to take control of the House of Representatives. That's a given. They may have the Senate. Let's assume that it is just the House. What will we, the Tea Party movement, require of our new Republican political masters? And if they do not do our bidding, what will we exact upon them in 2012? Vote.